Hey Cricut Crafters, it's Shea and I'm here today to talk about rules, licensing agreements, commercial use and personal use, and why this is so important if you are looking to sell anything that you make with your Cricut, if you are looking to make your own designs to sell for your Cricut, have a small business, maybe you're just selling it to family and friends. We're going to talk about the difference between personal use, commercial use, and that's for fonts, SVGs, cut files, and all things in between. So this is really relevant to all Cricut crafters and really important because you want to avoid any legal issues or repercussions that might come up, which is mainly centered in today's video about copyright. So we're going to talk about all of that today. I know it kind of sounds boring the way I just explained it, but let's make it fun today. Before we start, a little disclaimer. I am clearly not a legal professional. Don't let these glasses fool you. I am not a lawyer, so if you have any legal questions or needing legal advice, please contact a law professional because that's not me. I'm just a Cricut crafter who has had a Cricut small business for well over 5 years now. I've done a lot of research on this topic. I do have a lot of friends in the Cricut community that have a small business, whether it's on Etsy or other places, and they did either get sued from large companies like Disney and things like that. They're just regular moms like me selling things with their Cricut. So I want you to be able to avoid that. We're going to talk about that today, but like I said, I am not a law professional, so this is not meant to be legal advice, okay? Make sure you do your own research. The first thing I want to go over is the differences between personal use and commercial use. So if you are using something that an SVG, a font that you download either for free or maybe you purchase one off of Etsy that's been made, and it is for personal use only, what that means is you are able to make it for yourself, for your family or friends to gift. But there is to be no type of transaction where there's an exchange of something, whether it be for financial gain, profit, business. That is not what we're going for. So it's something that you exchange for free, you're gifting to somebody, and no form of payment is involved. So that is what kind of falls under personal use. Now donations, if you're looking to create it for an auction, you're donating it to an auction or a non-for-profit and things like that, that is going to change depending on the site, depending on each thing. So make sure if you're doing something like where you're donating it to an auction, you really look into the rules for that specific font, cut file, or whatever you're using to make sure you're following the rules correctly. Now we're going to talk about commercial use, which is the one that you can get either a commercial license, a licensing agreement, or sometimes it's even free with the file that you download to be able to sell the item that you make with that font, that cut file, the design, any of those things. So commercial use is you are able to go ahead and create whatever it is, that mug, that shirt. You're able to put the design on there and go ahead and sell it. This involves a financial transaction. Normally it is money exchange, something being sold, marketed, or promoted, and you would need a commercial license to be able to do that for those specific fonts, cut files, and SVGs, and you actually need those for all things that you sell, any font, any SVG, and any cut file, which I feel like a lot of crafters actually don't know. So that's why I'm here to talk about it today, because it's really important, and I'm going to explain why it's so important that you do this. There are, of course, some exceptions in this situation where we're talking about fair use, public domain, or if you purchase the commercial license like we talked about, or sometimes it just comes for free with the SVG or cut file. And again, each site is going to have a different kind of set of rules. For example, I use Creative Fabrica, so go ahead and you can just quickly read up on their commercial licensing agreement to see, are you allowed to sell this? What can you sell it for? Can you do print on demand, for example, or donations for personal use? Like I said, it's going to depend on the site, but generally that's the difference between personal use and commercial use. So I hope that kind of sums it up. If I'm going ahead and just taking a random Disney photo off of Google and creating an SVG, I can make that for myself. That's fine. I just am not allowed to sell it, use it for advertising for my business, or any of those types of things. No transaction or financial gain is supposed to be happening there. So that's really the difference between those. The main topic for today is copyright. So before I talk a little bit about copyright, I wanted to really explain what it was. So I'm going to explain this word for word, and I will put an overlay on the screen here as well, so you can go ahead and read that. A copyright is a type of intellectual property that gives its owner the exclusive rights to copy and distribute a creative work. Essentially, copyright could be for tons of things. It could be for music, it could be for videos, but it's also for designs, fonts, all of those things. It covers artists and protects their work. So this is what the licensing and commercial license kind of comes into play. And a couple examples of something that would be copyrighted are Disney files, sports teams, anything that you see made with, let's say, Lilo and Stitch or Mickey Mouse, one of the Disney princesses. Maybe it's Marvel or some TV show characters. Those Spotify keychains that have the Spotify logo on it and they're doing the Spotify audio sound, that is copyright. So definitely be careful, and I make sure to include that in any video that I suggest making any of those things, that it's only for personal use. And we're gonna talk about exactly why today. Now, don't get me wrong, for some of these things you can get the commercial license, which means you could sell those, but for places like Disney, it is a very expensive commercial license. Normally it's big, large companies that go ahead and purchase that, and big brands. So whereas myself can definitely not afford it. So yes, there are ways around some of it if you have permission from the owner of that design or, you know, sports team or whatever it is, but that's very rare occasions. So you're probably wondering, Shay, why do I see tons of people on Etsy selling a Starbucks tumbler that has Lilo and Stitch on it, or a really cute little Aristocats on it, or, you know, Disney princesses? And yes, I love Ariel and Cinderella as much as the next person. My daughter loves it too. Now, I'm gonna tell you, if you are seeing those on Etsy, they just haven't been caught yet. And sometimes people just genuinely don't know. They either have made it themselves, sometimes you can draw it yourself, and that still falls under copyright issues, unfortunately, if it's Disney and things like that. So you need to be really careful. In the beginning, I was purchasing a Elsa SVG off of Etsy, and I thought if I paid for the Elsa SVG that I got off of Etsy, I thought that that covered me under the copyright issues. I thought I could use it for commercial use. Thankfully, I did not go ahead and sell it because I learned fairly quickly by doing some research that those are actually being technically illegally sold, whether the shop owner understands that or not. Sometimes they do know that and they just hope they don't get caught, but eventually they do get caught. Their shops get taken down, and Disney especially is known to go after and sue those small business owners. They don't care if you're a small mom and pop shop, if you're a mom like me, you're just doing this to make money during maternity leave. They don't care, and unfortunately the excuse of "I'm really sorry, I did not know" does not work for them, and you will get sued and have to pay a hefty fine of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And I know people personally, you know, very kind people that innocently did not know that had to actually pay this. So it's really important you do your research, because you do not want to have any legal issues with this type of stuff. Just honestly, you don't want that. You don't want your shop taken down, and you just don't want any of that stuff coming after you. I promise I'm not saying this to scare you, and there are ways around it, like I mentioned. For one, you could purchase the more expensive licensing agreement, or like myself, I personally use a website called Creative Fabrica, which is linked down below. Not sponsored, but I like to talk about it because you all recommended it to me, and they actually come with the commercial license within your all access membership. Or if you want to go ahead and purchase just a single font or cut file instead of paying for the monthly membership, you can go ahead and do that, and the commercial license comes with it, which means you can go ahead and add that on a t-shirt, a mug, whatever it is, and sell that item. So I love using Creative Fabrica for my small business and just for my crafts in general, because I know I am covered under that commercial license section for all of my fonts and things that I get off of there. A lot of us download fonts from websites like defont.com. That is a great one for personal use, to get free fonts and use for just things you're making for yourself, your family, your friends to gift, like we talked about in the beginning of the video. Now, if you're wanting to create something with that font that you downloaded for free, that's not a problem. All you need to do is go ahead and pay for the commercial license. It's normally not that expensive, and there are sites that also give it for free, like I mentioned, Creative Fabrica, and then that's a great way to go about it. So don't worry if you've downloaded this font and you love it, you got it for free, it's for personal use, you can still use it. Just make sure you go ahead and do your research, purchase the small licensing agreement, and then you're able to go ahead and sell those, and you're covered legally on that side. So it's a really important step to do to protect your business, yourself, and just in general, even if you don't have a business, it's really important. You don't want to have any legal issues. Now, I'm saying this, and I'm sure there are people that are still gonna kind of go around it. You know what is right. You do whatever you're gonna do. I wanted to give all of you this information because we are a Cricut community here, and I don't want anyone to have to deal with any of those crazy fines, being sued, or legal repercussions. So I am here to give you what I have found out from my research over the years of having my small business the past 5 years, and honestly things that have really helped me because I knew none of this at the beginning, and I honestly just learned by doing research and over time. So I absolutely suggest you check out Creative Fabrica. It is only $1 for the first month. You get unlimited downloads, and they all come with the commercial license, so you can go ahead and sell those things. I show pretty much anything that I sell for my small business. You can go ahead and check out my business page if you're interested in what it kind of looks like. I have that currently on Facebook, and I will link it down below just if you're interested for reference to see what kind of things I sell, how I use Creative Fabrica to create digital mock-ups. And if you want to learn more about that, I have that video right up here for you to check out because it's a really important way to be able to do that. We're back to professional looking Shea. I hope all of that made sense when we were talking about copyright and different things you want to make sure you know. The last thing I wanted to mention in today's video, which we will touch on another day, is trademark. So on top of copyright, there are certain words, phrases, song lyrics, things like that that do fall under trademark, and you can also get in trouble for. So be really careful. There are certain websites you can use where you just input, let's say you want to make a design and I'm wanting to do a shirt that says live, laugh, love, or whatever it is. I don't know, whatever you want to put on there. You can type that into the website and it will tell you if it is trademarked, copyright, any of those things, and then tell you if it's good to use, you're okay to use it or not. So it's another really great thing to know about, and we can talk about that another day. I don't like to make my videos too long. As always, don't forget to check out this video here for my Cricut business series. If you're thinking about selling your handmade crafts or starting your own Cricut business, I've had one for well over 5 years, so this video will do great for you. Otherwise, check out this video as well because we love all things Cricut here on this channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you love crafting with your Cricut or are thinking of doing a small business with your Cricut, and I will see you on the next one. Happy crafting. Bye for now.